Alright, what is up guys? I hope you're all having a fantastic day. I'm doing pretty well myself, enjoying that summer vibe going on, and the draft was very exciting as well. But today's video I want to talk about the next big UFA, John Tavares. Now with Carson being gone, he's definitely #1 name on that list for sure. And I want to look at, first of all, where he can potentially end up. I mean, it's pretty much known that he made his list of 5 extra teams, plus the Islanders still very much in play. So let's try to predict his contract, line mates, where would be best for John Tavares in my personal opinion. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So let's do a recap of the 6 teams that would be interested, predict his line mates, and like I said, where would be best for John Tavares in my mind. The first team I want to look at are the SanJose Sharks. Now, they do have a great team. They made it to the second round of the playoff, got beaten down by Vegas, which was the expansion, the X factor of this whole season. Of course, it's enjoyable. There's a great core there. It's a bit aging. Pavelski and Burns are not getting any younger. Torчин is in his last days in the league. So yes, there's guys like Evander Kane just signed a long-term deal. Ertl, Couture, and Pavelski is still a top-line guy for sure. But when you look at really a deeper look, like Pavelski, Couture, Ertl are all natural centers, and they've played there for most of their career. So that leaves Evander Kane as a true winger, and after that Kevin Labanc maybe is the second guy, but it really doesn't. There's no elite wingers in San Jose that Tavares could really play with, unless, like we've seen in the past, Pavelski playing on either a left or right wing spot could be an option. But if I'm John Tavares' list, the weather is nice. Yes, San Jose is a nice little place to play hockey. They have a great core, and they made it to the second round last year, but it wouldn't be my personal pick. So yes, San Jose has definitely some positive going their way, but if I'm John Tavares, I do not want to go there. Next team are the Boston Bruins. Now they have the best line in hockey in my mind with Bergeron, Pastrnak, and Marchand. They tore it up all over the season, so I think that line is going to be intact. So if you're John Tavares, you got to be ready to maybe play a power play role for sure with those 3 guys and Torrey Krug. But at 5-on-5, you got to play with a guy like maybe Jake DeBrusk, Ryan Donato, Dana Ayton, Anders Brock. So are you ready to play that role? And yes, he's going to have no trouble finding 20, 21 minutes a night if he wants to play that much for sure. But do you really want to play with guys like Brock and Donato at 5-on-5? Honestly, it will make sense. I hope he's ready to embrace the fact that he probably won't play with Pastrnak and Marchand. Yes, of course, sometimes they might try to split that line. But if I'm the Bruins and if I'm Tavares, I know that line will stay there for the foreseeable future for sure. Like, I'm not touching that line. It was the best in hockey by far. And last year, even the playoffs, they really tore it up. So yeah, it would definitely make sense for Tavares. They're definitely going to compete, the Bruins. They have a great little core, a great little team. But again, it wouldn't be my personal pick if I'm John Tavares. I wouldn't necessarily go to the Bruins. Now, you probably see me coming. I'm wearing my Leafs jersey today, Matthews, because I think even though it will create some salary cap issue down the road, I think it makes a lot of sense for many reasons for John Tavares to sign with the Leafs. Now, I don't necessarily like that, being from Montreal. I'm still in trouble with my Habs right now. I'm not so sure how I feel about the way they're going, but I don't hate the Maple Leafs, but it's not my favorite team because, considering I'm from Montreal, I used to hate them a lot. But that new vibe that they're getting, Marner, Matthews, and Lander, they're a nice team to watch play for sure. And it would make sense for John Tavares to sign there for a few reasons. It would get a lot less pressure off Matthews' shoulder. We've seen Matthews play in the first round. He was not good. He was not the superstar center. So if Tavares goes there, it's going to create a double-headed monster like previous Cups winner needs. I mean, they absolutely need 2 great centers. This year was Backstrom and Kuznetsov, or Kuznetsov and Backstrom, should I say. Last 2 Cups winner, Malkin and Crosby. So it would make a lot of sense without taking anything away from Matthews, that Tavares goes there. Now, that being said, right now they have a lot of cap space, just over 20 million, but they have to sign William Nylander, and next year you have to sign Matthews and Marner. But you have Marleau again for 2 years that will cause some issue, especially the 1 year in common with the first big contract of Marner, Matthews, and Tavares if he's there, and Nylander as well. So if you're Cal Dubas, you got to work something out in terms of how can you actually fit his contract into this salary cap area. Now that 5 million jump, or 4.5, is definitely a nice bonus and something that the Leafs could actually work with and it just makes sense. He's from Mississauga, he's from the Toronto area. It makes sense for him to go there. It makes sense because he can play with a guy like Mitch Marner. Because I think Matthews and Leonard, they're going to try to work on that chemistry really hard. But I think you look at the wingers, and it's definitely the best place to end up in terms of the quality of player you're going to end up playing with, especially not only on the power play, but at 5-on-5. My pick right now is for John Tavares to go to the Maple Leafs. There's a few other teams I really want to go quickly on. Dallas Stars is in the mix as well, but I don't see Tavares going there personally. Yes, it's a nice little fact that you pay less taxes there, but there's Sergei Radulov and Ben. Can you create two duos? For sure, but I don't honestly see Dallas Stars making a deep run. I think they still need to work on their depth. Their defensemen are coming up, but still need a few years to really build that blue line. So I don't necessarily want to go to Dallas if I'm John Tavares. And of course, Tampa Bay is in play. Tampa Bay are always in play for some reason. But honestly, I look at all the contract. They just signed JT Miller to a 5-year deal. Unless a crazy trade happened, there's no real cap space for John Tavares to be Lightning unless he takes a crazy sort of discount to go there for a few years just to really compete. But is he willing to do that? I think if I'm John Tavares, I want to sign a 7 or an 8-year deal with the Islanders just for long-term stability and just to compete for this next stage of his career. Like I said, that leaves the Islanders very much in play. They won the draft after the Red Wings in my mind. Well, I mean, they didn't do anything crazy, just like Detroit, but just picked the best players that was kind of falling to them with Wahlstrom and Dobson. But again, the Islanders, if you re-sign there, there's also the bonus that he's pretty much established. You know, he's living there. I'm pretty sure he's got good friends, good connection on the team for sure. But you got to be ready to wait 2 years because I think Wahlstrom and Dobson might not be ready next year to compete. And when they are, then the Islanders will be a very, very good team. So the Islanders are finally coming in and out. They fire like 90% of their staff up front. So I think there's a better chance right now, if I had to pick two suitors, would be the Islanders and the Maple Leafs. It's really hard to tell exactly how he's going to make that decision. We're not in his mind, but the decision will be his. Because I think money-wise, they're all going to offer anywhere from 10 to 12 million a year, 7 with any team other than the Islanders, and an 8-year deal if he does sign with the Islanders. So 7, 12, 84 makes a lot of sense. You know, 7 years, 12 million per year with a lot of that cash loaded up front. So the Maple Leafs are definitely a team that could, in bonus, put a lot of money there to make sure, listen, Tavares, we don't mind paying you like an 8 or a 10 million signing bonus on July 1st. We're loaded. We can definitely do that. Sharks, Dallas Stars are teams that won't necessarily be willing to do that, so you got to be ready to take that part off. But if you want a big check on July 1st, Maple Leaf will just say, how much you want? We'll send you that check right away. I mean, this is one of the richest teams in hockey with the Rangers and Montreal Canadiens, so it makes a lot of sense for them to do a sort of contract like that, which could be very interesting to John Tavares as well. You just got to be ready to work. Can you keep Nylander, Matthews, and Marner? I think you might have to consider trading Nylander if you do sign Tavares, but you can make sure that you sign him before making that decision, because the conflict in terms of salary cap space will be next year, not this summer. So make sure you comment down below, where do you think John Tavares will end up? I think right now, if I had to pick two teams, like I told you guys, Islanders and Leafs makes a lot of sense in my mind. But the Sharks and Boston, I think, are very much in play. Thank you guys for watching again. You have an amazing day, and you guys take care.